Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is day 3 of the Advent Calendar. Day 3. I almost did this and then this. Day 3 of the Advent Calendar.
Sweet.
We have another great beer coming at you. I think, this is my opinion. We talked about this a little yesterday after we cut. I think it's going to be a while before we have a bad beer.
I'm hoping.
I think we need a bad beer. Not that I want a bad beer,
What?
but I think that, like, to appreciate some of these beers more. Matt and I drink a lot of good beer, and sometimes throwing a bad one, it makes you appreciate the ones we get, you know, more. Now, new scene here. I got called out by Matt for maybe recording multiple videos on the same day, but I didn't.
Nope.
And it's the proof is because I'm mentioning it. That was from his day 2 video. I could not have possibly mentioned that he said that.
We didn't.
If I recorded a bunch of videos all at once. And we have a new background. I came to SFIL's house because I needed to change things up.
That's right.
The first 2 videos were in the carriage house. They were on different days. I promise.
They were.
Not cheating this Advent calendar.
SFIL would not lie to you.
Why would we do that?
I don't know.
The fun of this is to have a beer every day.
Yes. And so we are on day 3. We're going to have a new beer.
We're going to have a new beer on day 3 at
we're
SFIL's
excited.
house. That's where we're at. So today's beer is Untitled Art with Angry Chair. Now this is the first beer on tap from Barrel House. So they bottle it for us there. We picked a bunch of beers, what, 6 maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
6 that were on tap. This beer is the first we're going to try from the on tap. We did this last year too. Everyone who participated picked one beer.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. So this is Untitled Art with Angry Chair.
My recollection is probably 2 of the top beers that we drank last year were beers that were on tap.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Yeah.
Even beers that seemed like they would be bad,
We're gonna do
that were on tap, they were good too.
Yep.
I remember some weird one, maybe a sour. I don't know.
But look at the can art.
Yeah, the can art. There's not going to be a can art segment today. But
no boner today.
We'll talk about once we open it. This is caramel coconut cookie. It's 11.7%. This is going to be a little harder to count down, but we'll give it a shot.
Oh hell yes!
Just let me know when you're loaded.
Sorry.
You ready?
Yeah. Hang on.
You can swear on this podcast, by the way. I did tell Stev on his video, why did you swear? My kids watch this. My kids don't watch this. This is probably the worst YouTube channel for them. They hate it. It's so boring. All right, you good?
Bunch of old men drinking a beer, yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. And now I have my wife got me a bottle cap map. I keep these Barrel House ones because they're always nice. The Wu-Tang ones are pretty cool. All right. So, Untitled Art, you want to go ahead and start getting a little taste of it?
Yeah.
And I'll talk about the breweries a little bit.
11.7, not for the timid. Let's just say that.
So, Untitled Art, they do collaborations. That's pretty much their thing. Is they make art inside the can and outside the can. Unfortunately for us, we're having a brewery that literally advertises their art. We're having it from a bottle shop, basically.
Untitled Art. Yeah.
So there's no art for this one, and I actually don't know what the art for this particular beer was. I am positive that this beer was not just on tap, because why would it be Untitled Art then? But I could be wrong. But the collaboration was with Angry Chair. They're out of Tampa, Florida. Now, is there a difference? You seem like someone who knows a lot about Florida. Is there a difference between Tampa and Tampa Bay, or are they the same thing?
Same thing.
Oh, they're the same.
Yep, Tampa's right on the bay there.
Oh, so Tampa Bay is not a city. It's actually just Tampa.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay is the area. It's like calling. It's like when the Anaheim Angels changed their name to the Los Angeles Angels. It's the Los Angeles area, but it's really Anaheim, which was in Orange County. It's not even in LA County. So it's the same thing. Tampa Bay is just that whole area. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of suburbs and a lot of retirement communities and whatnot that are sprinkled around Tampa. I think that's all it is. So
yep, and the hot sun.
We're gonna hot sun.
Humidity.
And pretty wicked hurricanes, as we found out.
And you know what? If you are, it's a shame that there are no humid climates. Well, I mean, it's a shame that anyone suffers from having no water. Like, there are places on the earth where people don't have good access to water. However, it's even more a shame that humid places don't have that attribute, because then you could just get a dehumidifier.
Yeah.
And make your own water. Of course, I don't know if I want to drink the air, because my air is probably not drinkable.
Well, it's purified. It's filtered.
It is purified and filtered. Yeah, I mean that's.
I don't know, man. This summer I had my little. We bought on Marketplace. We bought a little dehumidifier. That thing was cranking all summer. I'd pull out 3 or 4, full buckets worth, which was, I don't know, some crazy amount, like 8 gallons a day or something.
That's nuts.
Of water. I don't think I would drink it though. I don't know. It's just something about it.
I feel like when you have a dehumidifier inside your house, you're getting elements from like your carpet and your walls and your ceiling. Anyway, as you can see, Chuggalos Phil's house is all excellent, elegant, snow, stuff like that. But anyway, Angry Chair, Tampa, Florida. They are a stout. They claim that they don't want to be a one-note brewery. And that's kind of proven in the fact that they say they're a stout maker, but they won a gold medal for a Pilsner.
Isn't that interesting?
That's something that I learned today. So congrats on that. So they can make the complex beers, which the Pilsner is, and their favorites are these barrel-aged stouts. So it kind of reminded me of like Burial, which we talked about yesterday. In that they're making these darker beers. I looked at the names of their beers. Now they're not like Burial in that regard. Burial had names that were like the excommunication of blah blah. It was like this super long name that you would never write out or anything. Anyway, that's it. That's the background. Let's just get into it. See if we can beat our 22-minute video time.
Yeah, I don't think we had much luck with that last night.
No, we nailed it.
But we pretty much equaled what we did on day one, which we had agreed we were going to do, but that's just us. So you gave me a chance to drink this a little bit. So while you were giving that loquacious background, I would say this: caramel coconut cookie.
Yeah,
it's all that.
It tastes. And a bag of chips.
It is, and a bag of chips. It's it tastes like a caramel coconut cookie, like those Girl Scout cookies. Like what were they? The Samoas, right?
Samoas, yep.
The little caramel coconut chocolate on the bottom, right? Chewy on the top. It does. It's a little chewy.
Great cookies.
It's got a lot of substance to it.
Underrated cookie. The Thin Mint is overrated. The Samoa is underrated.
The Samoa is underrated.
Matt will disagree because he thinks coconut is basically a sin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in his religion, coconut is a sin.
So he's probably not going to dig this.
It's hard to know.
Yeah.
Because he does like stouts. He's been getting, he's been like barrel-aged stouts. He's been getting more knowledgeable, and acclimated to them, more so than even me.
Well, this is 11.7%. This is borderline between a stout and barley wine, and you get that. You get that. There's some fruitiness in there. There's some fruitiness from the esters in there, from the brewing process. But I taste a lot of vanilla, and of course the caramel and the coconut, and some chocolate. It's just really well balanced for that high alcohol content, that strong a beer. It's not too alcohol-y. There's hardly any hop bite at all. You can hardly taste any hops in this, in my opinion. A lot of maltiness, which you would expect, and the flavors just really good. None of those flavors, caramel, the coconut, the vanilla, I talked about, a little bit of chocolate maybe underneath there. None of it's overpowering. It all just kind of sits in there, subtle, but you can taste it. And I really like it. And I really like this. This kind of, I'm not even going to call it, because it's not even really close to, but it's similar to our favorite beer from last year, which was Decadence. And it's got
I don't know about that.
It's got some similar qualities to it, I think.
I think maybe in the stout. I'll get to my thoughts. I don't want to give too much away early, but I don't know about its relation to Decadence. In that Decadence, when we had that beer, like I think we all know what to expect from a baseline stout. For everyone, whether it's you, myself, Matt, and Steve and Mike who posted videos. Thanks for doing that. But I think everyone who's participating in this, they know what to expect from a baseline stout. When you get a Decadence, you're like, it's like holy shit.
Yeah, it was
like they amped up the stout part, the beer, the art of the beer. Whereas this has a gimmick.
It does.
And so some of that stout art is lost, in my opinion. But we'll get to that.
But it's got. I mean, Decadence was super high octane too, but so refined.
That was a barley wine.
It was, but it was so refined and so well balanced. It was smooth drinking, as is this, and I mean, there's just so many great things. I've had a lot of barley wines, including like Old Foghat or whatever the Sierra Nevada one is called, and several others that are really out there, right? They're kind of outrageous and outlandish and flamboyant, and really making a statement in one way or the other. These are just damn good beers. Well made, well crafted, balanced. Not too much of anything, but everything works together in concert, in my opinion. I'm really digging this. I'm going to give this a... Wow. This is going to get a... I'm teetering between 4 and 4.25. Gosh, it could even be...
Well, you had Decadence. You said this beer in the same vein as Decadence.
I said it
and
had
that beer was a 5 across the board.
Yeah,
but that was all members.
I know, but I said there were similarities.
There's similarities.
You know what? Screw it. 4.5. Whoa, that's my highest beer of the year so far.
That's how you influence the score, right there.
That's right. That was you. That was
me. That was all me. So.
No, I mean I was going to go 4.25, and that's really close. But
you like the beer.
I like the beer, and it's a John's right. It's a really stylistic beer. You either are going to like this, or you're probably not going to like it so much. But for those of us who like stouts, sort of bigger flavored beers, although it's not overpoweringly big, I don't think at all. It's got the flavors in there, which, frankly, John will tell you, I'm not really a big flavored beer kind of guy. But I am kind of now.
He is now.
I mean, tonight...
He's been indoctrinated.
Oh my gosh, I've been brainwashed.
Blapples.
Indoctrinated.
Sours, cookie beers.
I actually drink sours. I picked a sour to drink tonight.
I've probably seen you drink more flavored gimmick beers than I have seen you drink the beers you came here saying you liked.
That's because they're new and different, and you turned me on to them. I didn't think I would like them because I
started them on Truth, and then I was like immediately Urban Artifact.
Yeah, he pretty much did. He totally corrupted me.
Anyway,
and you know what? It was evil. He did it by luring me by Truth. And come on, who doesn't like Truth?
Who doesn't like Truth?
Right. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. 4.5.
4.5 from you. So this is an occasion where this is good because we don't agree, and that's a good thing because. Times when Matt and I don't agree, it always makes for great conversation. Here's the thing about this beer. I think I might go off the top rope like Matt and give my score first. This beer is a 3.0 in my opinion.
Wow.
And here's why. And I also want to preface this with, I like all the ingredients in this beer. Matt is going to probably come out really strong against coconut. And maybe he might like this beer. I think he might like. I actually think he might like this beer. This beer is way too sweet. It's so sweet. It's so way too sweet. And the stout does not have an identity in this beer. There's a bitterness on the back of the taste, back of the tongue, but none of that is like the burn malt stout taste that you get out of a beer. This beer is just basically caramel, definitely caramel on the whole tongue, back, front, everything. It's all caramel. There's a coconut breath, and then it's all bitter from then on. There's no stout to this beer. And I think the beer needs that stout. I will agree that there's balance in the alcohol. It doesn't stick out. Yesterday's beer with that bourbon, it was like, now that worked because it was bourbon flavored alcohol, but this, you'd expect to have just like that pungent nose alcohol. It doesn't have that at all. Hides it perfectly.
Yep.
That balance is good. That's where you're at a 3. Now to get anything higher than that, like this beer is almost too much to drink one of. It's so sweet, and I like candy and all that, but this beer is I got through the first half just fine, cruised through it, thought it was sweet, but now I'm really like every sip is kind of almost a struggle, and it's not because it's a bad tasting beer. It's just because it elicits like it's like work. like sipping the second half of this beer, it actually, I have to exert energy. And, you know, I'm lazy. I don't want to exert energy to drink beer. It's a good beer, though. Let's be honest here. I'm making it a bigger deal than it is. It's the sweetness. And because we disagree, I feel like I have to justify it. This might be a polarizing beer. It might be our first polarizing beer. I don't think it's a bad beer.
Right. I was going to say, as opposed to some of the beers that we had in last year's lineup, a couple of the beers that everyone agreed, this is a crap beer. This is not a good beer.
Right.
And this is a 2.0 or whatever, and we had a lot of alignment around that, agreement around that, right? This is not one of those.
This might be, I'm really curious. Stev's a stout guy, so I want to see what he's into. I can't remember what Mike's into, like as far as being favorite beer. I think he's an IPA guy.
He is an IPA guy like me.
But Matt definitely is a sour guy like me, and you know, we agree on so many beers. I think we might be in total conflict with this beer.
We're going to do...
It's really interesting. Yeah, we do agree on a lot of beers. I like the... It's definitely not a daily drinker. No question about that.
No way can you drink
and it's not a traditional stout by any stretch.
It is a gimmick, and they admit that up front. It's a gimmick beer.
It is. And it's not, you know, you can't... Okay, so we've said the last couple of days, and this will probably be our benchmark maybe over the course of the time, who knows. But this is not one of those beers that you can have on a hot summer day, sitting out and watching a baseball game. That's not the kind of beer this is.
No,
this beer
you would
is
not drink that.
Syrupy.
This is a cold weather beer.
It's a cold weather beer. It needs to be cold itself, I think.
Yeah, and definitely need. We kind of had this beer, maybe let's call it 20 minutes out of the fridge.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little bit too. It could have been.
It needs
colder.
to be colder.
Yeah, it needs to be a little colder, and it definitely sits on the tongue on the finish a long time. I'm still tasting it.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And again, if that taste was the art of beer, which I believe that Angry Chair has down, which is why this beer isn't bad. It's good because they know how to make stouts.
Yep.
But it's lost in this beer. The art's lost. If it was stout, I think the final taste, that lasting taste, needs to be something different.
You know, here's my point of departure and the point of discussion and conversation that we can have around this. I think none of the beers we've had to date are a classic up the middle whatever, right? The first day we had a Dippa, it did not taste like a traditional Dippa at all. The second day, yesterday, we had a Bock. It did not look like, feel like, smell like, or taste like a Bock, right? So
That's what we wanted, though.
So I don't necessarily think that if we're thinking about a stout, we don't have to think about it as it has to have this certain stout flavor.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, and it doesn't. It certainly doesn't. But like I said, and John pointed out beautifully, you know, you're going to like this or you're not going to like this. Yeah, that's the bottom line. There's a very distinctive profile.
I don't think you're not going to like, I think you're going to like it, or you'll like it a little less than that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to hate this unless you absolutely can't do caramel or sweet.
Yep.
Because coconut's just an afterthought in this beer. It's all caramel.
It is. It's a light but kind of distinctive part of the profile. It's caramel and it's sweet. It is very sweet. So if you're not into sweet beers,
it's so sweet.
Yeah, it might be a little overpoweringly sweet for you. I'm not like typically a sweet beer guy myself, but for some reason this one just kind of hits the spot for me. So, but again, this is not one that I would drink 2 of in a row. I would drink this bear again for sure.
Oh yeah,
obviously,
I mean 4 or 5.
Right?
That's a good score.
Yeah, I'm going to drink this beer again, but I'm probably going to drink like a little, bourbon glass of it at Barrel House and call it a day and move on to something else.
Yeah.
Because it's not one of those things that you can pound one after another. There's no way.
No. If you do, hey, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean the calories in this beer. We don't really talk about that.
If you do,
but man, I bet this thing's full of calories.
If you do, you're weird, you're funky, you're crazy, and you belong in this group.
You should come on the podcast.
Yeah, you should come on the podcast.
If this is your daily drinker.
Yes.
It's not.
It'd be interesting to have you on the podcast.
I wonder if this is a one-off or if they brew this.
I don't know.
They'll brew this again. But anyway, that's it. I mean, that's great. That was a good. It's good to disagree. That's Untitled Art, Angry Chair.
Yep.
Caramel coconut cookie. Do we taste the cookie? I guess that's the sweetness. There's no no cookie flavor here.
No, not really. I mean, Not really, except for the vanilla. There's some vanilla in there, and that's kind of like the wafer part of it, I guess. Maybe is maybe what they were thinking in it, but it does. I mean, if they were thinking like I was, like, hey, let's try to make a Girl Scout cookie. Let's try to make a Samoa out of this. So it's kind of like a Samoa to me.
It is. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh boy, mine's Savannah's, the peanut butter ones.
God, those are great.
Or what do they call them? Do-si-dos now, I guess.
I don't know what they call them. You like the chocolate covered peanut butter ones or the peanut butter sandwiches?
No, the peanut butter sandwich ones.
Peanut butter sandwiches are good. Yeah. Underrated are the originals.
Oh, I like
those ones. Are really good. That's it though. That's the podcast.
What do they call those?
Who knows? Girl Scout cookies. They call them Girl Scout cookies. That's it. Untitled Art with Angry Chair. 4.5, 3.0. Excellent episode. Day 3. Join us tomorrow for day 4. And don't forget to watch Matt, Mike, Stev. Am I forgetting anybody?
Probably. But go, brother Chuggalos. Do it.
Go. Do it.
Bring it.
Bring friends aboard, you know?
Yeah, bring friends.
That's it.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.